Here we are, just outside the castles of Babolat, where King Burky and his little jester Badger like to stroll around, looking at board games that were planted in the years gone by, and seeing which of these are still standing in the woods of Evergreen.
I love that intro. Welcome, everybody, to the Burky and Badger Board Game Babble Show with our segment, The Woods of Evergreen. We're going to talk about games from 2005 that we think stand the test of time. So with that, I'd like to welcome the jester of the court, Sir Badger the Brave.
Well, hello. How are you doing, sire?
Doing excelente. Yes.
You seem to have got a lovely suntan on your face.
Why, thank you. I've been out in the woods with the entourage and the campfires and the royal s'mores.
I can't
One
wait to hear
must
s'mores
love
of
a
that
good
story.
piece of chocolate and marshmallow.
Don't. I'm on a diet, sire. You know.
You know
But
what
then
diet
again-
is? Die
Yeah.
with a T.
Yeah. That's all I ever drink is tea. So I'm going to die with tea.
Well, that's good for the diet. I consider myself beautifully plump, and have been thinking about the same thing.
You're cuddly.
Very huggable too.
Yeah.
Huggable king.
Yes, the huggable king. So, yes, welcome to Babylot. We're not going to babble too much. We're just going to go straight into our list of our favorite titles from 2005. These are evergreen. So these are games that we still play. These are games that we still own. We still love. And these are kind of like recommendations for you to, if you haven't played them, maybe if you find them like in a bargain bucket somewhere or in a boot sale, maybe they're definitely worth picking it up because we think they're worth picking up. So to speak.
Yeah, and I think that's, we've been talking about this segment, the Woods of Evergreen, and why we're doing it. And one of the hopes and one of the goals that makes this little segment, it's only a 30-minute, more consumable a podcast from us live on YouTube, and you can join us on Facebook Live, join in the chat. We love to have you guys enter your comments and thoughts, and we'll do our best to respond to them. But this was a way for us to maybe, give some insight, at least from our perspective, some games we think that might be worth grabbing a hold of. And sometimes you can find these type of games at Goodwill sales or even in the buy-sell Facebook swap shops, the Board Game Geek list. You can find some of these products, eBay, and there's other opportunities. But hopefully what we're share with you is valuable and help give a little bit of insight, at least from our perspective. And the hard part about doing this is in this year, 2005, this is our second look. Okay, so this is round 2 of 2005, where we're each going to give you 3 games. Well, there's 2,800 games. I mean, going through that list was I kept going and going, and finally I got to where everything was rated below 5, and I thought I'm done looking through this list.
Yeah. And again, a lot of that list is expansions for games. A lot of that list are, kind of like republications of the same game. So yeah, hello,
Kabuki Kids here. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, so some of them are like, Uno Express or Uno with extra cards, double deck, whatever. So yeah, there were a lot of other games.
Well, and I kind of categorize this too, because for me anyway, this is about when I started getting back into gaming from high school and starting to purchase games for our family when our family was younger. And I didn't really experience this renaissance of the greater board game hobby, till in 2012. So a lot of these games I heard about and went and were able to acquire because I heard about other people talking about these games, but they were relatively fresh then compared to now. but there was a potload of games that are in there that we wouldn't really consider hobby board games. Wouldn't you agree with that? Or
Yeah. Well, or not enjoyable hobby board games. They're probably hobby board games for people, but yeah.
I'd encourage you, go to the Board Game Geek and go over to the search button. And if you right click on the search tab in the white box, it'll come up to advanced. When you click advanced, you can put in a date and you can go there from 2005 to 2005, and you're going to get a list. Now, it took me a while to figure that out, to be honest, because you had to right click on the search to be able to get to this advanced search. But then you can search by designers, you can search by dates, blah, blah, blah. You can see your own games in the list and all of that kind of thing. I need to update my Board Game Geek because it's highly outdated. But
yeah. So before we give you our list of 3 games, as Burky said, we'd already done a recap. Well, we've already gone and done this in 2005. And so I'm basically just going to recap the games that we mentioned last time, the 3 games that we mentioned from last time. So if you say, oh, you've missed out that game, that game's great, it's because we probably said it in our last episode. So go and have a search for that episode as well, which is just called Woods of Evergreen 2005. This is Woods of Evergreen 2005. Second round. I can't
round 2.
Yeah. So last time Burky mentioned Mission Red Planet, Shadows over Camelot.
Oh yeah.
And we both mentioned Ticket to Ride Europe because we make our lists and we don't talk about what our lists are. So that sometimes there is crossover. The other 2 of mine were Ink and Gold and Arkham Horror. Excellent. So you probably won't hear those names again in this one, as we're going to mention 3.
But they are worthy of the kingdom.
Yeah. And again, they were probably a little bit higher than the 3, which I'm going to mention now. But these 3 games are games that I have very recently played. So be prepared.
That is not the case for me, sadly.
These 3 games are still on my shelf of shame, he says. I own them. I've played other people's copies of them, but I haven't played mine.
That's funny. All right. Would you like to start there, Sir Badger?
Okay, yes. I will start straight away because last week I played with my 5-year-old on a Wednesday because I had to look after him because the grandparents had gone away. And so Wednesdays, he has no school. And so I was stuck with him. I couldn't work. I wanted to work. But he said, can we play some games? So we got out Uno and we played Uno. So that's why I mentioned Uno earlier, obviously. But we also got out this game called Suro, which has just recently had a very special edition published. And the reason I got that out for a 5-year-old is because it is a very simple game. And I've just noticed that I've closed down Board Game Geek when I need Board Game Geek.
You know, that's while you're doing that, I was at Tantrum Con this early spring, and Calliope Games had a copy of the deluxe Suro game. And I had the opportunity to sit down with Carly, Gnarly Carly, who's now with Lucky Duck Games, and with Ray Weirs and Ken Franklin from Calliope Games. And we actually played a game of the deluxeified game. And I got to tell you, I mean, it's spendy and it's definitely a luxury, but that was so beautiful. And it really enhanced the gameplay playing with those amazing bits. But with that,
looks better than that playing on the floor.
Yeah, that's not it. Well, yeah, that is it. Look at that.
So basically, Suro is a 2 to 8 player game where each player plays a dragon and they're flying across the sky. And the sky is a square board with lots of squares on it. And players will place their dragons on the outskirts on one of these lines. And each player will have 3 tiles in their hand. And on your turn, you place a tile in front of your dragon. And then your dragon has to follow the line. And then the next player does the same. And eventually, some of these tiles will touch each other. And so, like someone's tile, which has been played, when you play your tile, it will connect to their tile, and then your road will actually go onto their tile and then maybe circle round and come out somewhere else. And the object of the game is to try and stay on the board, because eventually all of these roads will lead off the board, and you're trying to be the last dragon standing, so to speak. It's very simple, but very fun. And it just goes down really well with, as I said, 5-year-olds and inexperienced players as well. I used to play this with my parents back in England. They weren't board game players; they were card game players, but they just love it. And I mean, this base version is beautiful. There's also a version in the sea which had some new rules, which is also very good as well. I've been very tempted to pick up that version as well, but it's simple, it's elegant, and it's playable. And once you've played one game, you'll want to play again and play again, and maybe change the color of your dragon and play again. But that is an evergreen, as I said, recently played. Tsuro.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing choice. This game has been played over and over the years, and for it to get a deluxeified treatment tells you something. And I remember, I believe it Will Wheaton, one of his first tabletop episodes was Tsuro, and I think it was Tsuro of the Seas, though.
Yeah,
something like that. But I remember him talking about the joys of board gaming and how this particular game brought them so much joy, and he wanted to share that. And I remember that was one of my first exposure to tabletop from when that was running, which I really enjoyed. So I see Kabuki's got a couple comments. We can check real quick before.
Yeah, she said Arkham Horror 2nd Edition would be on my list. That game that has made me really get into modern board gaming. In fact, I played that last week as well on my own because I was bored one evening.
Fantastic. King Richard Launius, the designer of Arkham Horror.
Oh, yeah. I hate him for that game. We also played Defenders of the Round last week with my daughter. I've had a lot of gameplay in this week. It's been incredible.
She has a nice list of other games that she thinks stand the test of time. I thought I said Twilight Imperium 3 on my last list. No?
No, it's not there.
Okay, I probably saved it for Twilight Imperium 4.
Yeah.
Well, my game on the list that I think definitely stands the test of time. For the longest time, this was one of the top rated board games on Board Game Geek. It is still one of my favorite games to get together 2-player. My son Josiah and I played this several times, and we haven't been able to take the time to revisit that as a 2-player game, and for me to go back and revisit all the rules. So I'm not going to do a great job of explaining everything, but this game is Twilight Imperium. Twilight Struggle. Well, Twilight Struggle, the Cold War, 1945 to 1989. This is from GMT Games. This game here has, you can see Barry's got the maps there, but this is one of these back and forth struggles. And, you know, the way that you are taking initiative and the way your troops are deployed, the events that come out in this game, and it has that historical nuance that is so engaging for me. Now, I was born in 1965, so of course a lot of this wasn't relevant to me personally, but I do remember that 1970s type of crisis and Gorbachev and all this kind of stuff, and some of the things that were involved in this brought back some of those elements of that theme, this back and forth struggle. And of course we're doing area control, which is one of my favorite mechanisms, and when I was younger, played a lot of this. There's a fair amount going on in this game. So I wouldn't say that it's an easy entry, but I don't think it's overly complex or overly complicated. There's a lot of videos, a lot of commentaries on this, but I have the deluxe edition of Twilight Struggle, and I have an insert for it. And there's just that, I don't know, that fog of war where you're not sure what's going to be revealed, with your little markers and different things of that nature. And that strategic advantage to take a certain location, knowing that you might give up something somewhere else, or who's going to do it first, and this back and forth pull. Just love this game. For me, Twilight Struggle is designed by Ananda Gupta and Jason Matthews. Jason Matthews, quite well renowned. And this game, like I said, was I'm where is it on the list right now?
On the BGG. It's still at the top. Give me a second.
Yeah, I think it's around 5th or 6th or something, right?
Edit this out of the podcast. It is number 14.
Number 14. Well, that tells you something, because for the longest time, this was up there and had a lot of love. So that's my number 1, Twilight Struggle from GMT Games.
No problem here. No problem here. I haven't played it, so I can't give an opinion. It just looks kind of dull and very 70s. It reminds me of the Lord of the Rings game that I had, which is from the 17s, which is just cubes and...
I think you're right. It does look kind of dull, but
yeah,
the actual immersion of the game, I really, really think is great.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be up on the list so high, would it, really?
Yeah.
Seriously. Okay, my second game is a classic.
Oh boy.
It's got a DVD in it. It's Cluedo.
Cluedo. Yes,
Cluedo.
I know that. Cluedo DVD. Yes, I have a DVD player. Yes, I know that.
You guys call it Clue, don't you?
Clue, yes, not Cluedo.
No, not Cluedo. I don't know why.
Cluedo.
But this is basically the base game of Cluedo, but it has a DVD in it, which makes it interactive. So basically, not much has changed. There's just this DVD playing in the background, but there are designated scenarios. And so there's a clue book. There you go, 10 scenarios, but you can just do like a random case as well. So it just plays in the background, but there are some scenarios which are already designed, and so you'll get clues and story which leads to an accusation of someone doing something to Mr. Black. And it looks dated. It looks like a very bad cartoon, but you'll be taking your turns like normal, but every now and again the DVD will interrupt you and then say, okay, all players need to swap one clue, or I have a clue for you. I saw Mrs. Scarlet early today washing her hands in the kitchen. And then that's a clue, and you just knock it off. It's Cluedo, but it's just a notch up from the base game of Cluedo. There are some random elements because the DVD would do some random things. You would go through corridors and maybe something bad will happen to you or something good will happen to you. You might find a clue, or you might have to pass clues to everyone else or other things. But it's Cluedo, but done better. And hopefully they do it again. Hopefully they bring out, because we've got it all on our phones now. I'm playing Chronicles of Crime at the moment over there. You can't see it, but yeah, I'm on my own. I'm just like, so yeah, that's my second one, Cluedo, the DVD version.
My wife loves Clue. We've got a deluxeified version from years ago with the little metal tokens for Colonel Mustard and Scarlet and all that stuff that we played. But then when Days of Wonder came out with Mystery of the Abbey, it kind of switched, that deduction game. They kind of veered towards Mystery of the Abbey a lot more than Clue. So I don't remember the last time we played Clue. It was a long time.
This has got some nice things in it, like the magnifying glass, the red magnifying glass, which you can scan over the cards and you can see like secret images underneath. Also, It came with painted minis as well, which was a bonus as well. It's a nice production. It plays nicely. And it does feel like an old type of family game, but it's been, it's been a while since I've played it, but I still have it and I still want to play it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Clear there. Yes, I knew that. It's on Jerry's list.
Yeah.
Number 2. I know this one thing. Other people might not be amused, but I know I amuse myself.
Oh. So I was waiting for a punchline there.
Yeah, there was one there, and it amused me. But
okay.
All right. My second game on the list is a game that I do not own, but I had the opportunity to play, and we fell in love with this game. And it wasn't because of the game group necessarily. I was taught it by Trey Lennox at Dice Tower East a couple years ago. And he brought it out, and it didn't look that impressive. It looked dated. As of course, we're talking 2005. There was a 2007 rendition of this game also. But it was simple to teach. It was easy to bring to the table. It had a push your luck mechanism to it. It had where you could maximize your dice rolls and do different things by adding equipment. And it was set in this deep sea diving adventure game. And the game is called Key Largo. Now, interesting thing about Key Largo, this will give you a little bit of input about it. It's actually designed by Bruno Feduti and I just had it.
Mike
Selnicker and Paul Randalls. So these are big names in the board game industry. And what was the artwork of this game was really cool. You had different abilities to go into the Caribbean and find these galleons that have been sunk, but there's different depths of the ocean. So to go to some of these premium galleons that would give you more loot, you had to really dig down deep into to get those items. So you needed to make sure you got some equipment with you, like weights or a helmet, diving helmet, or like a trident that would allow you to re-roll dice or do things of that nature. And it was a little bit of this management type of game where you had to acquire a certain amount of money to buy these different things, but then you got this loot and you traded it and you're going around, right? Go back to that last picture once. Can you zoom in? No. That one. Can you zoom in on that? Nope.
Really, it's a really bad picture.
Yeah, there you go. This is the art of the game, and it's a little bit cartoonish, but it was just cool. The colors are really vibrant. The teach of the game was easy, and everybody is active on every turn, and yet the turns go really quick. And you can play this 3 to 5 players. I noticed just recently, I looked for it and I couldn't find it. I wanted this game immediately. There's kind of a little scoring map on the game where things get increasingly more expensive. Of course, it comes with paper money, and we, of course, used chips for it instead. But this game is just a lot of fun. Everybody was engaged. It was tight. I just really loved it. Now that I see that it's available, I'm going to go grab a copy of it. There's even some on eBay now. So very cool game. Key Largo, Bruno Feduti, Mike Selnicker, and Paul Randalls. And that is produced by, I better say it right here. Who made this game? Who does it show there? I don't see
there's loads of publishers.
Yeah.
Loads of publishers.
Loads of publishers is who made it. Publisher Egmont, Pulaska, Paizo Publishing.
Paizo, yeah.
Paizo. And Titanic Games and Tissit. I got boo-boo, Tissit.
Oh, Tissit better.
So that's my number 2 is Key Largo.
Yeah, it does look nice. I've heard the name, but I'm piqued now as well.
It's fun. I think you would really like it with your family.
Yeah.
Because it is a family weight game, but there's lots of gamery things in there that keeps it very interesting. It's just not complex, but it was a lot of fun. Played it in an hour.
Again, I like games with islands, like The Island or Escape from Atlantis or not Key Largo. Oh, there's another Bruno Fiducia. I can't think what it is.
And
Yeah.
it would look fantastic on our pirate or our Viking game mat with all that water, the pirate mat particularly, because it's got that Caribbean sea color. That'd be cool.
So, talking about that nice piratey map, let's talk about our sponsor.
Oh, the sponsor of the show is Game Toppers LLC. I've never really heard of this company. Yeah, this is a shameless plug that I'm not ashamed of. Game Toppers is our company, of course. Game Toppers, we make portable gaming tables, but now we have full tables with leg kits, dining covers. We just received all of our dining covers, almost shipped all of them out. Our European container is leaving for Europe and the United Kingdom here on Monday. Australia and Canada has been shipped out. Most of the United States orders have been shipped. There's just a few left. Will be done within about 10 days. The response to our product has just been overwhelmingly positive. We're so grateful for Game Topper Nation. We have over 5,000 backers of our products, and they're so passionate about it. We have a Facebook group called Game Topper Nation where people share the pictures of, they've got these new dining covers and they're just digging it and loving that. And there's over 20 thematic style game mats. We are going to extend the late pledge manager during our last campaign in May that we started in June, the late pledge manager. You can still take advantage of all of these 25 unlocked stretch goals, plus these big package deals. But we're only going to run that for about another 2 to maybe 3 weeks, depending on how long it takes us to get done with fulfillment and then migrate everything to our web store. Of course, as everybody knows, prices have gone through the roof on a lot of things, and we do need to make some price adjustments. But we're going to keep this up for a little while longer so you can take advantage of all these special prices, save hundreds, and almost have immediate delivery. I mean, really within the next couple weeks. And we've fulfilled this entire Kickstarter within 3 months, which is really amazing for Kickstarter. So we're very proud of that and so thrilled to get this into people's hands. So you can check us out at GameToppersLLC.com. You can go to our web store at shop.gametoppersllc.com. Find us on social media at Game Toppers. And we'd love to have you a part of Game Topper Nation and enjoy the fun about upgrading everybody's gaming experience.
Ba-boom. Oh, I just love looking at the mats.
They're so cool. I mean, the volcano mat is cool. The Roman theme mat for Foundations of Rome. We'll talk about Arcane Wonders in a bit here, but
yeah,
just a lot of fun. The Vincent Dutray and Ryan Lockett mats. And it's just in our next campaign, we've got some crazy exciting stuff. You've probably heard some names like Vincent Dutray and Ian O'Toole, some other noted board game artists that are going to be coming alongside us to create some more cool stuff.
But anyway, on with the list.
Number 3.
My third pick for 2005, second round, is cheating. I'm doing an expansion.
Oh, an expansion.
There weren't that many games from 2005 that I have played or own. But anyway, yes, I have an expansion to talk about. But the thing is, the good thing about this expansion is it is worth talking about. This expansion is from a game which is being republished. Woo! And we talked about it on our last podcast about it being republished. And I actually played it not long afterwards. So this is still fresh in my mind. Okay. And this is one of the components from it. It's a tree. A tree.
A tree? 2005. I was just going to say photosynthesis, but no.
No. This is Heroescape again.
Oh, duh. Doy.
But this is the expansion. Oh, it's the the Road to the Forbidden Forest expansion. I don't have the box. I just got all the components in a thing. But this is one of the expansions that I play the most. This is actually the expansion I play the most. Number one, it introduced this road and this bridge, which is always a pleasure to build onto your maps. But it's also had this scenario where some player has to escort a prisoner across the bridge, but the other players can or try to ambush them and steal this prisoner and stop them from getting from their destination. And this is a scenario that I've played more times than probably every other scenario in the whole universe of Heroescape. It's just enjoyable. It came with a nice big troll thing. I can't remember. But we don't call the things by their names. We make up names for them, like the Ninja Samurai and the Men in Black, Agent Smith, Agent S. But this just added so much to it. It added these trees which could block line of sight a bit more better than just the walls. And as I said, there's this path, and the path you could make up rules like you can walk quicker on the path than you can on the grass or on the rocky terrain. So it was like, for one point of movement, you could actually move 2 spaces. So I had to drop this. It's a fantastic expansion, and I can't wait to see what the new version of Heroescape brings out, and the expansions that they bring out, and the stories that they're going to bring out, and the different lovely 3D, beautiful, solid
broken pieces that they make.
This is solid as a rock, and I've just freaking broke it.
Can we say super glue? I knew you could.
Oh no! The amount of years I've had this, and the kids have been throwing these around, and it's just broken live.
And this is why he is the gesture of the court. He's a bit clumsy. He makes me laugh.
Oh, no. I'm devastated.
You'll be able to fix it.
I'll be able to fix it. I'm going to cry after this.
Not special ABS plastic. Now, help me out a little bit with this. This is a Hasbro product, right?
Yes.
And they ran kind of a Kickstarter crowdfunding within their own software or something. Is that correct?
I think it's more of a case of they will make X amount depending on how many people want it. More than a crowdfunding thing. I think it's like a build on demand.
Is it a pre-order or?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't investigated too much. I'm just waiting for messages to pop up and say, it's now available. So
Kabuki.
Oh no.
I bet she just started laughing. So I've heard that the plastic for this game has gotten maybe a bit more brittle over the years. See, you heard it here at the Board Game Babble Show. Where do you get insightful demonstrations like this? Anywhere on the web. I mean, you saw it here first, folks.
18 years. 18 years and then it breaks.
All right, my number 3 is a game that I when I was going through the list, honestly, this game has been on my shelf of family weight games that we used to play quite a bit. But it was down on the bottom of the shelf, and this particular shelves that I have, it's kind of hard to get them in and out of there. I got to move some and to get at them and blah, blah, blah. And I just haven't played it, but we love this game. And when I went through this list, I would go, the next game that we're going to play together is going to be this game because I love this game. I do have some cons to talk about with the game, but this game is just so fun, and it's called Vegas Showdown.
Ooh, sparkly.
Oh, yeah, baby. Take the glare off it, but look at that 3D. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, baby.
We're just going to stay there. That's the money shot. The money shot.
The money shot. And you'll need this money to go to Vegas to play this game. But basically what you're doing in this game is you've got this board, And this is one thing. If you can see me here, this board is like the cheapest crappy cardboard that I could get printed, down at Walmart. Drives me up a friggin' tree that they put this in here. I mean, it's a piece of cardstock.
Yeah.
It's ugly too, but it's fantastic. The game that comes in, that's my biggest knock on it. And then they give you these really nice cardboard player that are actually produced nicely, for your player boards. Excuse me. The game has these player slots, and maybe you can just, instead of me going through the box here, it comes with some poker chips and whatnot. I just think the production value really stinks. And it's a thing that drives me nuts about this. We did exactly that. We put real poker chips. It comes with the cheapo plastic poker chips and cheap cardboard. But this game, you're actually building your casinos out. And it has a little bit of that Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Suburbia type of thing where you get different synergies by putting them together. But you feel like you're on the Vegas Strip and you're building them. There's an auction mechanism. So you're buying these properties and they're moving down the scale, which I love that type of mechanism where you're grabbing them and they can get cheaper. And, but everybody's competing for them, but you have to have a certain amount of money. So you're bidding and you're building, and then there's a gambling aspect where you can go to the casino. And I mean, that looks like a Robert Searing insert.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. From insert here. Shout out. Yeah. This game is so fun. It's so, I've been wondering why they had not implemented this game either under a different theme or just improve the overall appearance. I heard about this game from the Dice Tower. This was in Tom Vassel's top 100 for the longest time. I don't know if it still is, but it's 3 to 5 players. It's this one was produced by Wizards and Hasbro. That probably tells you something as far as the production quality. But the game itself, it's amazing. 75 minutes, the high stakes game of bidding and building. It's a great game. I've had ideas about this game and having a retheme of this game in another concept where you're building something else that all of us know. So who knows if I'll ever pitch an idea, but it would have been based on this type of concept. I love this game. Super fun. And we're going to get this back to the table and I'll show pictures of it and we'll talk about it and let you see more about it. I haven't really checked to see if this is very available right now. Do you see any on the geek list there?
I didn't know. There is, yes, in the geek market.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, go pick
51.
you up one. Go get you some. Vegas Showdown.
Vegas Showdown.
And that kind of brings us to a close. We just got to talk about our other sponsor of our show, and then we'll be able to say adieu.
Oh, no. Already? Yeah. Already?
No, we're still having fun. We just begun. We have not yet begun to have fun.
We haven't, no. It will come to pass that we will have fun.
Well, our fantastic sponsor is Arcane Wonders, and Arcane Wonders, some of my dear friends in the hobby. So I'm absolutely biased, but I'm biased because these games are just friggin' good. So many hit games that I just love from Arcane Wonders, including a game that has moved into my top 10 of all time. And that's outside of bias. This is from Emerson Matsuuchi, who I think is an amazing designer. He did Century Spice Road and a lot of other games. He's an amazing, wonderful guy. Foundations of Rome. This game went to its second printing. It was so popular. It's a massive production. It's amazing. People say that it might be overproduced because it's so friggin' awesome. But I got to say, I'm all in on it. I was all in on it 3 times, actually, that I purchased 3 copies of this game. Wow. It's fantastic. This game every time we play it, it's new. Every time I bring new people to it, they just love it. The variability of buying these, and it's got that auction type of mechanic where you're going down the line and you're building these buildings that give you synergy and income, civic buildings, and you're getting the residential buildings, and you're getting the economic buildings. It's just awesome game. You can still late pledge. This is going to be only up on their late pledge manager for a limited time. And then they're going to a quick production on this. People readily have been rating this game very highly. I highly recommend it. But Arcane Wonders is a lot more than Foundations of Rome. They've got tons of awesome games. Behind me, you can see I got Furnace, Picture Perfect, Aquatica, Smartphone Inc., Royals. So many amazing games at Arcane Wonders. And I know this about their team, and I know this about their leadership style, and what their heart in producing games is. They don't want to just slap a bunch of stuff up against the wall. They want high quality games. They want them produced well, and they want to deliver well. And they do that consistently. And they are just an amazing company. Check out arcanewonders.com. Late pledge for Foundations of Rome and any of the other games. And if you're at any of the major conventions, you're going to see Robert Geislinger, who recently got married. Congratulations. Ooh, you're going to see the team there, and make sure to check them up and tell them Burky sent you from Board Game, from Game Toppers LLC.
You had to think about that one.
I think it's like Board Game Theater, Burky and Badger, Board Game Babble. Game Toppers.
Yeah, you did a remix there of everything. Yeah. I will hopefully catch them at Essen and see their new games which are coming out as well.
Oh, Land, Air, and Sea is awesome too. That's a fun little 2-player back and forth, rock, paper, scissors type of game.
Yeah. And there you have it.
There you have it.
Great games. Oh, great games. I felt like playing Royals the other day for some strange reason.
I love Royals. I still love it. Simple. And that one didn't get quite the buzz and excitement, but I still think it's a great game and love it. And I love Peter Haas, the designer of that game, who did Francis Drake and Triassic Terror and blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. So there you have it. We've come to the end of the show.
Thank you guys so much for joining and listening to this. You can find us on the Board Game Geek Guild 2248, and you can tell us what you think is your top games of 2005. We'd love to interact with you, and join us on Facebook, Burky and Badger, Twitter, Burky and Badger, and we'd love to connect with you guys and love to you. We also do another show, Barry, you can talk about.
What's that? What's the other show?
There isn't another show. I just made it up.
Yeah, you confused me. The How to Break Your Board Game show, where we specially throw games against the wall to see if they stick.
Component drop.
Component drop.
No, we have our standard show, the Burky and Badger Board Game Babble show, where usually once every month we bring a special guest in, do a special game show, but we talk about games that we've recently played. We talk about what's in the news, and then we always have a Babble topic. We have an upcoming show that we're going to talk about all of the polls that we have been doing. And some of the polls that we've done have got a lot of feedback and interaction on the Guild, Board Game Geek Guild 2248. You can see some of those, but we're going to talk about some of those questions that we put out there and explore that a little bit and see what people's interaction was with that. We thought that'd be kind of fun to recap those ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look out for that on YouTube or on Facebook. You can find us at Burky and Badger Board Game Babble. Everywhere you type in Burky and Badger Board Game Babble, so we'll be on podcasts. So like on Spotify or YouTube.
Lipsig.
Libsyn or iPhone, iTunes,
Stitcher Radio.
That one as well. And yeah, you can find us on his site, which is boardgametheatre.com. and my
Oh,
site,
yeah. Board Game Theater.
boardgameseverybodyshould.com.
Board Games Everybody Should is a site you should go to.
Yeah. And you can find all the information there and more of our shows. Enjoy.
Kabuki said, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed Furnace. I gotta love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I got the mat sitting up there too. I need to get that one out here too. I know.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thanks again. We'll catch you later in another week or so.
Yes. Until then, play nicely with each other.
Play nice.
Boom.
We're so glad we had this time together. Now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Burky and Badger will be back in no time.
No time. Boom.
I thought you'd say that.